Great afternoon, everyone. So, I don't know, and I don't really care how many people this is going to piss off, but they're already talking about the Derek Chauvin, or whatever the hell his name is, the guy who put his knee on George Floyd's neck, and they're trying to say that George Floyd was on so much fentanyl that he overdosed from fentanyl. Okay, they're literally trying, like, basically they want to get a retrial and say that Derek Chauvin is innocent. All right, first of all, if someone is on fentanyl and you got your neck on their throat, if you're on fentanyl, your respiratory system's already low, you're high out of your mind, your breathing's not proper, like, it's not a good thing. And it messes with your nervous system and it lowers your respiratory rate and all of that. So if someone's on fentanyl and you put your knee on their neck and then they say, oh no, he overdosed from fentanyl, well, don't you think that the knee on the neck and him not being able to breathe had some part of that? So you remember what you guys called the summer of love when George Floyd died. I think he was executed. You know what I mean? Like they kneaded it on his neck, then they threw him in the damn uh, what you call it, ambulance, and then he was dead. Maybe he is alive. Maybe he's just an actor, a part of the woke propaganda. Because what did they try to do? They destroyed that city, and some investors bought like a majority of that town. So they needed a perfect opportunity to, what do they say, never waste an event, or never waste a, I don't know how the hell they say it, but basically they started those riots. It was George Soros funded because they wanted to take over that city. I think they got like 20 or 30 buildings. They renovated them, and now, like, the cost of living and everything went up. That was part of their plan. But to say like, oh, Derek Chauvin is innocent and he shouldn't have any repercussions for putting his knee on the dude's neck. Like, when you're arresting someone, you arrest them. You don't just fucking stick your knee on their neck. All right? I don't know who George Floyd is. I don't know him from Adam and Eve. I know he had lots of bad characteristics. He was a woman beater, allegedly, and all these different things. But to say that Derek Chauvin should be acquitted and that this was just a fentanyl overdose, you think uh, George Floyd riots were bad the first time? It's going to be way worse. Listen, to me, that's insanity. Our legal system, our courts, can't even prosecute these fraudulent representatives who identify as our congressmen, our senators. Like, they're literally fraud. They're hoaxers, they're fraudsters, they're treasonous. They marry their own brothers and sisters. They create policies to ruin cities and countries, states. It's worldwide. You have these people who identify as our representatives, and we can't even try and prosecute them. But they want to bring back this case of George Floyd and try to say that Derek Chauvin is innocent and it was a drug overdose. He helped him overdose. How about that? Because when you're on fentanyl, if you have a high tolerance, whatever, the dude probably been doing fentanyl for a long time. I guarantee you he wasn't going to overdose if he didn't have that knee on his neck. Maybe that caused more asphyxiation, that lowered his heart rate, but to me it's common sense. If you guys are looking forward, like, you guys got mad when people celebrated, rest in peace Charlie Kirk, the left woke mind virus, the agenda, to push the hate, the separation. You got the Candace Owenses and the Alex Joneses now, and all these people turning on each other, trying to divide America. And then you think about it. You think letting Derek Chauvin be innocent and acquitted, and that was just a drug overdose, that's going to be the worst thing that's possible. And I forbid it to happen. And I pray that God works this out the way he's going to work it out. But don't say that the man, like, I watched the video. The dude was literally on his neck with his knee for how long? I don't know. I didn't watch the whole video, but I watched that, then I seen him get thrown in the ambulance, and then they called him dead. So, a lot of fuckery happened that day, and it led to post COVID, post George Floyd in the world we're in today. So, just think about it. I don't care if you get mad. You can delete me. You could say, "Oh, celebrating someone's death, first of all, that's wrong." And then trying to bring it back, and then it's like poking the bear. You don't want to do that. I promise you, if that happens, I'm gonna denounce all of you. You guys are yeah, screw the activities and the lifestyle that George Floyd had. May God have mercy on his soul. That's what we should be thinking about. Once they're dead, they're dead. God is dealing with him. So I promise you, if you guys retry this and you get that Derek Chauvin was acquitted and it was an overdose, our legal system is trash. And if they push that and they allow it to happen, that's the worst thing you could do. That proves how trash and fraudulent our legal system is. Isn't there like no double jeopardy? Well, if there's no double jeopardy, then how? I don't know. It's contradictions in so many ways. No double jeopardy, but you can retry the guy and say, "Oh, he didn't kill the guy, motherfucker. He had his knee on his neck for what seemed like 10 minutes or whatever it was." All right, so I don't care about George Floyd. I'm not worried about Minnesota. I'm not worried about the damn riots, but thinking about it in a human way, in a loving way, like God would. All right, the dude's dead. Move on. May God have mercy on his soul. Derek Chauvin, whatever. Let God deal with him the way he wants. But I promise you, mark my words, if they retry that and say that it was an accidental overdose, the knee to the neck had nothing to do with it. You didn't choke his ass out. The dude was on fentanyl, and you're gonna choke him with your knee. Promise you. I will denounce all of you, and it's just, that's pure ignorance. That's pure hate. You call yourselves Christians and all this, but I see all the people who call themselves Christians. Oh, they're and they just pick and prod, and they on the George Floyd thing. Who cares about George Floyd? He's dead. They got what they wanted. They did their riots. They destroyed a town. They rebought it. Then they made the cost of living go up. It was all part of the plan. But I'm going to repeat myself one more time because I've been thinking about this for days and I don't know how to say it. This is the way to say it. If you're going to celebrate death and then expect to say, "Oh," because you guys will celebrate it. You'll be like, "Oh yeah, it was an accidental overdose. He didn't choke him out with his knee while the man was highly intoxicated." So shame on you if you do think that way. You know what I mean? Shame on me for all my flaws, all the shit talking that I've talked about in my entire life, especially since COVID started. All the shit talking I've talked about. Shame on me. You know what I mean? A lot of the shit talking I do is relevant and it's necessary, but sometimes I go too far, and like for instance, we didn't celebrate when the girl, what the hell was her name? Good, Renee Good. She stood in front of the cop car, or no, she didn't stand in front of the cop. What did she do? She tried to run over the police officer and she got shot. No one celebrated that. You know what I mean? Like, stupid things happen when you do bad things happen when you make stupid decisions. So obviously George Floyd, that led to, what was he, counterfeit money, led to something else, and then the police arresting him. He resisted. Long story short, he resisted so bad that he accidentally overdosed underneath Derek Chauvin's neck. And you guys want to say it was just an accidental overdose? Heavenly Father, I rebuke that. I pray that none of that comes into existence, and everyone takes a look at themselves. Have some empathy for that. We don't need sympathy for George Floyd and drug addicts and money laundering, whatever the hell he was doing that day that led to that event. Have some empathy. Maybe the guy, yeah, he's a shitty person, but I don't think anyone deserves to die that way. Maybe he was just high and the knee had nothing to do with it, which makes absolutely no sense to me for you guys to say that Derek Chauvin should be acquitted and it was an accidental overdose. That's just pure ignorance. Alright? Sorry this video took 10 minutes to put it out there, but it's just, it's ridiculous. It's incredible how the authority that people think they have. You know, I'm just gonna leave it at that. May you all have a blessed day. Peace be with you. And let's try to fix things. Let's try to change things. We don't need to keep going back to these horrible outcomes. You know what I mean? Let's move forward and let's let our legal system go where it's needed. We don't need to go back 5 years and think about what the hell's his name? I don't even care about the guy, but just thinking about George Floyd retrial, Derek Chauvin, it was an accidental overdose. That's, you know how fraudulent and how fucked up that'll be, and that our legal system needs to be used properly, and we need to start finding, prosecuting, jailing all these people who have been committing treason, violating the Constitution, ruining our country. What about the pedophiles and the murderers and the rapists? Why don't we go after them? You know what I mean? Apparently, George Floyd had some tendencies. I don't know the guy. I don't know his history. But apparently he was a woman beater and all that. But it's not authority to change the news after we all saw what happened. You know what I mean? I'm going to repeat it. May God have mercy on his soul. And may God intervene on you, me, everyone. And we could have some love in our hearts and try to fix things instead of poking the bear. Have a wonderful day.